Hello and welcome to St. Andrew Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon. I am Rohit Raj, your Civil Engineering Department faculty. Now I'm going to start online lecture series of Irrigation Engineering, which is in your 6th semester curriculum. Okay, today's topic is canal regulation work, and I'm going to discuss each and every topic in detail. First of all, we'll start with syllabus, canal regulation work. In this topic, we have to study canal falls, its necessity and its locations. Okay, what is its requirement and where it can be created, constructed. Okay, then we have to study cross regulator and distributive head regulators, their functions, and in the last we'll study canal scapes. This is really very important topic. Canal scapes we'll study in detail all of this. Okay. Now, first of all, start with canal fall. Whenever the available natural ground slope is steeper than the design bed slope, then we'll use canal fall. Basically, if the ground slope is not in a range where we can construct a slope, so then we will use a masonry structure to balance that slope without any scouring. Okay, so we'll construct a masonry structure that is fall or drop. Okay, the difference is adjusted by constructing vertical falls or drop in the canal bed. Okay, so why we require this kind of structure we'll study in further discussion. Okay, such a drop in natural canal bed will not be able to stable, and therefore in order to retain the drop, a masonry structure is constructed. Okay, whenever the bed slope is steeper, okay, then there is a masonry structure constructed, and that structure is canal falls or drop. Okay, look at this. You can clearly see this. The ground slope here is so steep that we cannot allow water to fall from here to here in a bed such. Okay, so what we'll do here, we'll construct a masonry structure that would reduce the effect of scouring, that would reduce the scouring effect of water, and that leads to no harm to the ground surfaces, and also losses due to scouring will be reduced, like mixing of soil in water and polluting the soil also. So we'll study in detail why it is required and how we're gonna design this. Okay, basically irrigation canals are designed for a prescribed bed slope so that the velocity becomes non-silting and non-scouring. Okay, here we are having three terms. Basically, first velocity, second silting, and scouring. Okay, why these terms are essential in canal and canal design? Okay, so basically when we are designing any canal, then we have to keep in mind that we are designing that for a specific velocity. Okay, if we are designing some canal, it has its reach where the water must require to reach, and so we'll design according to its velocity so that it can reach there. Now other terms are silting and scouring. Okay, so basically what happens when the velocity is not that sufficient, means the canal flow rate is low, then while flowing water which has particles like sand, gravel, and pebbles, they settle down in the beds of canal, and this results in silting, and artificial layer or a layer gets deposited over the canal bed that basically affects the capacity of canal to carry water. Basically what happens that pebbles and stones actually get deposited in the bed of canal, and they reduces the capacity of canal flow, and also slows the velocity of flow. So other term is scouring. Scouring is basically when the velocity is too high, then it rubs off or erodes the bed of canal. means when the velocity is high, it scratches off the bed of canal. So all the three terms we have to keep in mind while designing any canal. So here also we are designing canal fall, and basics are same, that we have to maintain the velocity, we have to design in such a way that there is no silting, no scouring. Okay, if the ground topology is not, in order to maintain the canal design slope, so indefinite filling and falling of ground is to be made. Okay, if the slope is too steep, then what we'll have to do, we'll have to cut some portion of upstream and place in downstream so that its level could be neutralized. But if it is not feasible or not possible or too costly, then what we'll have to do, we just have to design a masonry structure, that is canal fall. This indefinite filling is avoided by constructing a hydraulic structure in place of sudden bed level. Okay, we are creating a hydraulic structure, and this hydraulic structure would be here canal drop or canal fall. Beyond the canal fall, canal again maintains its design slope. Okay, now canal fall would after canal fall, again the canal would maintain its design slope. Okay, now we'll see this. Thus, a canal fall or drop is an irrigation structure constructed across a canal to lower down its bed to maintain the design slope. Okay, so canal fall is a structure that is constructed to lower down the bed slope, and that could reduce the scouring effect of canal bed. And you all know that now you can understand scouring can harm both river flowing water and also the bed of canal. So now we know that what a canal fall can do and what is capable of. Again, here is also, you have to note this point, this falling water has some surplus energy, and the fall is constructed in such a way that could destroy the surplus energy. We'll study a specific term for destroying the surplus energy in coming slides. But now, till now, we will study that this canal fall reduces the energy. How they're gonna reduce the energy? Just when the water will fall from upstream to downstream, it will definitely lose some energy. That, you know, from potential energy to kinetic energy conversion, and when it is stopped, then it reduces and having some loss of energy. Okay. Now, necessity of canal falls. Basically, why do we require canal falls? I already mentioned a point that why we need canal falls, because we are unable to do heavy earthwork which is required during a steep slope. Okay, when the slope of ground suddenly changes from steeper slope, the permissible bed slope cannot be maintained. Okay, you all know when the steeper ground slope is there, then the permissible bed slope is not maintained. Okay, I would like to also mention what is permissible bed slope here. Okay, we have to understand this point also, that what is permissible bed slope. Actually, while we are designing canal, then we have to keep in mind the bed slope, because I already told you that we have to design for a specific velocity. If we are designing a canal, then we have to maintain a specific velocity, and that velocity can be assumed by two ways. Sometimes we maintain that velocity using artificial sources like motors, but most of the time we design canal beds accordingly so that it could attain the velocity. Suppose we have designed some bed slopes and to reach a specific velocity, but in between some portion there is scouring. So what will happen? There will be a deep depth, so that could reduce the bed slope, and also that could harm the velocity that we have already designed. So therefore we have to maintain the designed or permissible bed slope which we have already calculated during our design. So for this, we need to maintain the permissible bed slope. Okay, so if it requires excessive earthworks in filling to maintain the slope, if the slope is too steep, then we require excessive earthworks for this. In such case, falls are provided to avoid the excessive earthwork in filling. Here you can see with this diagram that ground surface, this is ground surface. Okay, so this ground surface and other coming ground surface is like here. So for this reason, we have to construct a fall. When we will construct a fall, then the ground surface from here to here, water will flow from this ground surface to here without having any scouring effect and without harming the soil portion there. So you have to keep this in mind, that fall are basically to maintain the effects or to cover the effects of steep ground slope. Okay, when the slope of ground is more or less uniform, the slope is greater than permissible bed slope of canal. Okay, same. Okay, in cross drainage works, the difference between the bed level of canal. Also, we need canal falls during a cross drainage works. What are cross drainage works? Basically, when drainage passes through a canal, then that is cross drainage work. You also know what is drainage and what is canal. So when a cross drainage work, during a cross drainage work, the difference between bed level of canal and that of its drainage is small when the full supply level of canal. Full supply means when the highest level of canal and the highest flood level of drainage has less difference, then we require canal falls. Why we need canal falls? You can see clearly here that the difference between the full supply level and highest flood level of drainage, full supply level of canal and highest flood level of drainage is quite low. Okay, this much difference between FSL and HFL. So what we need here, we'll construct a subway for the water in a canal to pass through. Okay, and for that we'll have a steep gradient. Okay, so for this this is steep gradient. So for this steep gradient, again we have to design a canal fall. Okay, I think I made my point clear that why we need canal fall, because the difference between FSL and HFL of canal and drainage respectively is quite low. If this difference is quite low, then we have to construct a artificial passage for the canal below the drainage so it could pass easily. And for this we need a steep gradient. Okay, for that gradient we'll design using a canal fall. Now we'll study in detail different canal falls. Okay, our first type of canal fall is OG fall. Basically, canal falls are classified on the basis of ground level, and these are classified on what kind of grounds we are having there. Okay, so first we have OG fall. Basically, OG fall was constructed by Sir Proby Cotley on Ganga Canal. Okay, I may remind you about Ganga Canal. What is important in Ganga Canal? Basically, Ganga Canal has a history of having high velocity of flow. Its velocity is too high to be designed for any such projects where we don't need scouring. So if that high flowing river Ganga meets some steep gradient, then it would be too fatal. So we don't need this steep gradient, so we'll design canal with the canal fall there. This type of fall has gradual convex and concave surfaces. We'll study and we'll see in diagram what is gradual convex and concave surfaces. Basically, it's a mixture of two surfaces, convex and concave, so that it reduces the steeping effect, sloping effect of water in the form of OG form. Okay, gradual convex and concave surface is provided with an aim to provide smooth transition. Okay, there will be smooth transition of water and to reduce the disturbance and impacts. Okay, and also we have to reduce the disturbances and impacts. Okay, what will happen when there would be a disturbance or impact? Basically, when we are constructing a structure, then there will be impact, then this could damage the structure. So we have to provide a surface that could make smooth transition. Okay, in last part it is mentioned that here a hydraulic jump is provided. Basically, hydraulic jump is in your fifth semester syllabus, I guess, but I would like to discuss here in brief what is hydraulic jump. Basically, hydraulic jump is a situation when a water flows from subcritical flow to supercritical flow. And what is subcritical and supercritical flow? When water is flowing with a depth below the critical depth, then that is subcritical, and when water is flowing with depth width higher, then it is supercritical flow. And when water flows from supercritical to subcritical, that phenomena is called hydraulic jump. And also I would like to remind you that there is a loss of energy during a hydraulic jump that can be formulated by if you can remember, y2 minus y1 whole raised to the power cube divided by 4 y1 y2. This is the equation. Basically, this is the equation for hydraulic jump. Need not to worry about if you don't know, but you should keep in mind that whenever water flows from supercritical to subcritical, then there is a phenomena called hydraulic jump. In this phenomena, there is a loss of energy, and that loss of energy can be calculated using the relations of initial depth and final depth of water flow. Okay, so here while we are designing OG fall, then there is a situation when there is hydraulic jump, okay, to dissipate a part of energy. As we all know, canals like Ganga canals can have a very high energy because the flow rate of Ganga is too high. So we need to dissipate some energy so that it could be not harming to the beds and to the surroundings. Okay, upstream and downstream of the fall is provided with stone pitching. Another point we have to keep in mind that while designing OG fall, the upstream and downstream bed is designed with stone pitching. Okay, stone is very good. Stone is having very good resistance against scouring, but still we have to design accordingly because it is not impossible to scour stones. They can also, water can scour stones also. Now see, it's okay. This is example of OG fall. Here you can clearly see the stone pitching that we have studied in last part. That stone pitching is provided both at upstream and downstream. Okay. Now, in beginning, I mentioned that there is convex and concave. Okay, this portion is convex and this portion is concave. This joint hole is OG shape. Okay, this is OG shape. Okay. Now, what is its effect? It could reduce the velocity while this steep is too high. Okay, it could reduce the velocity when water is flowing from this portion to this portion. Okay, now after this, there will be a hydraulic jump that would destroy that could dissipate some energy. Okay, some excessive energy. Okay, this much for the OG fall. You have to keep in mind few points that are OG's fall are designed for the Ganga Canal, designed by Sir Proby Cotley. Okay, Ganga Canal is very famous for its high flowing velocity. Therefore, we have to design OG fall there. Another point is it has convex and concave surfaces. Okay. Also, we have why we have concave and convex surfaces transition for smooth transition. Okay, and last part we have to keep in mind that there is a hydraulic jump to dissipate a part of kinetic energy. Okay, So always keep this mind that for OG fall we have to note 4 points for Ganga Canal, convex and concave surfaces, smooth transition, and last part is hydraulic jump. This diagram, stone pitching, upstream and downstream. Okay, keep in mind. Other type of fall is stepped fall. It consists of series of vertical drops in form of steps. It's suitable in places where sloping ground is very long. Okay, what now we are doing in stepped fall is that we are providing drops in sequence of steps. Okay, means earlier what we were doing, we were simply creating a masonry structure that would do whole work. But now what we are doing, we are doing the same work in steps. We are dissipating or we are reducing the effects with in steps. Okay, where this kind of fall is suitable? This kind of fall is suitable in places where very long horizontal ground is available for that steep. Okay, when we are having long glasses to connect the higher bed level with lower bed level, then we also need a very huge amount of earthwork. Okay, why do we need huge amount of earthwork? Okay, one requirement is that the ground is steep, so we'll need more portion to cover the level. Other thing is that when the horizontal ground is too long, then we also need manpower to carry out that work also. So that is costier. So what we need here is a stepped fall. What it would do, it could reduce the steep slope. Okay, in steps, more basically in 2, 3 or more. Okay, the sloping glasses is divided into number of drops. Okay, will create canal falls or canal drops in 2, 3 portions. Okay, so it could reduce the scouring effects and other damages. Okay, now for more points, what we have to study is that brick walls are provided at each drops. Okay, now at each drops we are providing brick walls. Okay, the bed of the canal within the fall is protected by rubble masonry. We have studied about rubble masonry, what is that, and bed of canal is provided with rubble masonry with surface finishing with rich cement mortar. And what is rich cement mortar? Obviously such kind of structure require a very high bed strength so that it could not easily get eroded off or scratched off. So we'll need a rich mortar. Okay, rich mortar means cement concentration along with the strength would be higher of that mortar. Okay, here you can clearly see the stepped falls where the fall is designed in 3 steps, basically 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so the same work that has been done earlier in OG fall or coming in further falls is done here in 2 or more than 2 steps. Okay, so this is called stepped fall, and you have to keep in mind that beds here are of rich cement mortars and rubble masonry. Okay, now we are going to study the vertical falls, that is Sarda fall. Okay, Sarda fall is also very important, and you may be asked in your examinations that describe the Sarda falls. So first we'll study about the Sarda fall in detail. Okay, basically this type of falls are constructed on Sarda Canal in Uttar Pradesh. It is a fall with raised crest with vertical impact. Okay, the soils in Sarda comprise sandy stratum. Okay, so we need this special kind of falls there. This made it obligatory to provide number of falls with small drops. In Sarda type fall, discharge intensity varies from 1.6 to 3.5 cumac per meter. Okay, So in Sarda type, when the canal upstream bed, okay, canal upstream bed is on the level of upstream curtain wall, or canal upstream bed is level below the crest of curtain wall. Okay, in both cases a cistern is formed. You all know what is cistern. Cistern we have also studied in our in our environment lectures. What is cistern? Okay, so it is a provision when there is storage of water. So this kind of cistern is formed there. Okay, so that cistern forms water cushion. Okay, floor is made up of concrete, both upstream or downstream side, and with stone pitching, cement grouting is provided. Okay, first we'll have stone pitching, then we'll provide cement concrete using grouting technique. Okay, you all know what is grouting technique. This type of fall is used in Sarda Canal UP, and therefore it is also called as Sarda fall. So what we have to keep in mind, that canal is forming, we are trying to form a cistern. Okay, now you can see in this image what is cistern. Here you can see that, clearly see that this portion is water cistern. Okay, this portion is water cistern. Okay, now we'll study about rapid fall. When the natural ground level is even and rapid, this rapid fall is suitable. Okay, when the ground is rapid, then rapid fall is suitable. It consists of long sloping glacis. Okay, long sloping glacis. Curtain walls are provided both upstream side and downstream side. First of all, ground is even and rapid. Okay, second, curtain walls are provided both in upstream and downstream side, and also they have long sloping glacis. While classifying the falls, you have to keep in mind the location or requirements of that canal. Okay, it is must that you should know that which kind of canal is required for which type of ground surfaces. Okay, so this is possible only when when the ground level is even and rapid and long slopy glacis. Okay, we'll provide curtain walls on both upstream and downstream sides. Okay, rubble masonry is with cement grouting is provided. Okay, rubble masonry with cement grouting is provided from upstream curtain wall to downstream curtain wall. Okay, and masonry surface is finished with rich cement mortar. Okay, so surface is finished with rich cement mortar. Now I don't think that I need to remind you that what is rich cement mortar. Okay, we have to keep in mind here 4 points again, that is even and rapid ground level, long sloping glaciers, and curtain walls are provided both upstream and downstream, and also rubble masonry with grouting and masonry surfaces with rich cement mortar. You can see here clearly curtain walls are drawn here. You can see curtain walls clearly. Okay, you can see rubble masonry here, rubble masonry and curtain walls. Okay, this is rapid flow where the ground level is even and rapid, and this rapid fall is suitable for long sloping glaciers. Okay, now straight glaciers fall. It consists of straight glacis provided with a crest wall for dissipation of energy flowing water. Okay, we have already studied that why do we need dissipation of energy, because we cannot afford to have scouring and any adverse effect due to that excessive energy. Okay, so we need dissipation of energy of flowing water. So we need a water cushion that we do in straight glacier falls. Curtain walls are again provided at toe and heel. You can understand what is toe and what is heel by the coming diagrams, but here we have to keep in mind that curtain walls are provided at toe and heel. Again, stone pitching is required at upstream and downstream of the fall. You can see here one curtain wall and here one curtain wall. Definitely this portion is what? What is this? This is heel and this is toe. So here one curtain wall, here one curtain wall, and stone pitching is done here and here. Okay. So this is all about straight gaseous fall. Now we're going to study trapezoidal notch fall. It was designed by Reid in 1894. This type of body or foundation wall across the channel consists of several trapezoidal notches. Okay. In this trapezoidal notch, there are several trapezoidal notches. You can relate it with stepped falls. There we try to create dissipate energies using 2 or 3 stepped falls. Okay. Similarly, there in the trapezoidal notch fall, there is several trapezoidal notches. You can see this is the trapezoidal notch. Okay, this is the trapezoidal notch, and this one is pier. Sills of the notches are kept at upstream bed level of the canal. The body wall is made up of concrete. Okay, an impermeable floor is provided to resist the scouring effect of falling water. You can understand why do we need an impervious floor. Impervious floor means it cannot allow water to flow through that. Okay, impervious floor is that it cannot allow water to flow through it. Okay, now what will happen if it would be pervious? Okay, if it would be pervious, then there would be scouring effect. So an impervious floor is provided to resist the scouring effect of falling water. You all know what is scouring effect of water: scratching or rubbing of the bed of the canal or any hydraulic structure. Okay, upstream and downstream side of the fall is protected by stone pitching. Okay, upstream and downstream of side of the fall is protected by stone pitching. Okay, these upstream and downstream of side fall is protected using stone pitching, and stone pitching is then finished with cement grouting. Okay, this diagram you can clearly see this here, that trapezoidal notches, this, okay, this is pier, and these are abutments. You all know what are abutments. When the visit starts, the first pier and the last, these are abutments. Okay, these are abutments. So I would stop here and will continue in the coming lectures. Feel free to ask any doubt regarding the topic. You can also text, WhatsApp, or email. Thank you.